Today in the Boot Guide, we are looking at the Tomahawk, part of the 1892 line from Thorogood. Alright, so if it's your first time hearing of 1892 boots from Thorogood, it's understandable. They're not the most prevalent out there in the whole heritage type market. In fact, I really do think that they are probably not noticed at all. The 1892 line is, in my opinion, probably the best boot for a boot enthusiast to have several pairs of. Now, with that being said, it's because of the leather, it's because of where it's made, it's because of who makes it. Though I might be a little biased because Chromexcel leather, it's made 5 miles away from where we sit right now at the Boot Guy Reviews studio. Thorogood boots, 5-hour drive from my door to their door. So okay, I might have a softer spot for the Thorogood line of heritage boots, but for obvious reasons, isn't it? They're beautiful boots, they're made exceptionally well, and the level of craftsmanship that goes into each pair is outstanding. Alright, so the Tomahawk. Now, the Tomahawk comes in 3 colors. It comes in this beautiful cognac color, it comes in a loading green color, and it comes in a black. Now, for me, lighter boots are something I'm always going to go with because, well, I really do love lighter leathers. I like the patina that happens with something that is in a lighter spectrum. I like my boots to look a little worn, a little used, mainly because I am more partial to actual work boots than dress boots. So I go with the lighter colors so they just kind of have a little bit more age to them. And for some reason, and this is not true, I'm sure this is all psychological, I feel that lighter color boots break in a lot quicker and a lot easier. There's no truth in that. That is strictly wise tale, you know, but that's the way I feel. So this pair of Tomahawks comes with a nitrile sole. Some people say it's nitrile, some people say it's just cork. I'm going to call it nitrile cork. Now, as you can see, look at that sole. That is a fully Goodyear welt stitched down sole. You don't see this much in a lot of heritage boots. You don't see this a lot in a lot of other boots that are in the same price range. Some that even fall into a higher price range don't even have this level of quality. And for the heel, they're using a high durable density Vibram heel. Now, the heel alone, just this rubber section right here, is probably one of the high points of the boot because this is Vibram rubber. So not only does it wear long, it's got great traction between ice, smooth floors, water, and whatnot. Getting in and out of your car or truck, you're gonna get a lot of traction with this heel. And it doesn't wear. For some reason, the Vibram heels, guys get a lot of life out of it. Now, if you're an everyday wearer of a boot like this, you're probably gonna get a good year out of this whole lower construction. And I mean every day, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day in this thing. Now, if you're a weekend guy, you're just putting these on after work, this sole and this heel, probably 5, maybe 7, 8 years out of this combination. And it's just because of how the materials are made. Cork soles last forever. Now I shouldn't say that because there's probably a lot of you guys out there that have worn cork soles out. And so now you're gonna come back and tell me, oh no, mine only lasted me 3 years. Mine only lasted me 2 years. That's 2 years, that's 3 years, that's a really long time. When you think about just the amount of material that's there, this isn't like a big lug logger sole. This is a very thin, comfortable, flexible sole. So you're gonna get a lot of life out of this thing. The leather, Chromexcel, like I said, I'm partial to Chromexcel. I mean, 5 miles from my door to the Horween factory, that is the distance. I can hop on the expressway and be there in less than 10 minutes if there's no traffic. If there's traffic, it takes me an hour and a half. But this boot, the leather was tanned so close to me, and it's about the recipe that they use. Horween, when it comes to making Chromexcel, that recipe is old. The way they achieve not only the hand of the leather, the way they achieve colors, the way they achieve just the whole overall appearance, that recipe is over 100 years old. When I say recipe, they're mixing materials, they're mixing chemicals together, they're dyeing, they're curing, they're doing what they need to do in order to produce this beautiful leather. So now when you got leather this beautiful, you just don't slap it together. You take time, you pick the sections that you're gonna cut and where those sections are gonna land. And it is exceptionally obvious here with this 1892, with this Tomahawk, because looking over at my pair, looking for symmetry, looking for where the guys cut the parts out to form these boots, you can tell that wherever the die was used to cut this boot, that die was flipped to the other side to cut this boot, because the leathers are outstanding. Though, we are talking about hand-rubbed leather here. We're talking about time and just lots of care put into just rubbing the leather on a flat surface before it's even turned into a boot. So it's going to show that there's going to be fewer and fewer defects, fewer and fewer little marks on it. But just the fact that when you put them side by side, when you look at them straight down, when they're on your feet, you don't see those defects. And if you're seeing any sort of non-symmetrical cutting or shapes or whatnot, that's just the hand of the craftsman. Laces and hardware. Now, Thorogood, of course, always does a great job on their work boots when it comes to those parts of the boot. But on the 1892, they take it an extra step. They give you some really beautiful stuff. I believe it's antique brass, though I can't find anywhere where it's listed, but over the years of looking at so many pairs of boots, I'm almost 100% this is antique brass. Now the speed lace, these 4 speed laces, what really stands out is that these 4 speed laces are cut from one single piece of metal. These are machined speed laces. And I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, why is that important? Well, when you look at a lot of other heritage type boots, what you're going to see is bent speed laces, which means you catch those speed laces on the edge of your jeans, you catch them on the edge of something, they're just going to bend back out. And eventually you're going to bend them, and then they're going to snap off. Machine speed laces will not snap off. You might pull them through the leather, pull them on too tight, or your lace is getting stuck on something, but you're not going to bend them, and they're just a really good looking piece of metal. Just the way they line them all up, the way they just fall into that arc, that's really beautiful. All right, so let's get to the inside of this boot, because this is a key part of what goes on in heritage boots. Understanding not just the outside, the aesthetic, but the way it's going to come in contact with your foot. Now, when it comes to 1892s, the president of 1892s, Dick Martins, which you can see an interview I did with him 2 years ago, you can just see the amount of care he puts into designing his products. Now, what's inside? Well, it's raw leather. They send along a very basic insole, and it is a very basic EVA, very bouncy insole. But the one thing that I've discovered from wearing 1892 boots for the last 4 or 5 years is that I take the insole out of these. I break them in without the insole, because underneath on that hard footboard, there is a cushioned heel and there is a soft piece of material that's added to the heel counter. Now, it's not an easy break-in, and I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh yeah, they break in, no problem, I wore them for a week and they felt great. No, you know what? It takes a while. 3 weeks, maybe a month and a half, on and off wearing a pair of boots like this. And if you're buying these as your only pair of boots, yeah, you're gonna break them in a little bit quicker, you're gonna have a few more hot spots, your feet are gonna hurt from time to time. But when you take your time breaking in a pair of boots like this, because of the lack of a leather lining, because of the hard footboard, and because of the overall construction, And that's what it boils down to, is the shape of this boot, the way they actually construct this in an ergonomic type of piecing together of the leathers. Just look at that. If you can see that, look at the shape of the boot all the way through. Look at all those curves. Look at when you have this on a flat plane, the way it fits the shape of your heel, your Achilles, and your calf, the way your leg kind of has an arc in it. They have complemented the natural shapes of the foot and the heel into the boot so that the boot fits wonderfully once it's broken in. All right, let's talk about size and fit. Out of the box, I've been wearing Thorogoods way too long, so I know my size from the company. But if it's gonna be your first pair of these, then you're gonna have to try them on. Now, I was fortunate. The shop I picked these up from allowed me to go through all their 12. So I was able to try on all the different 1892s before settling on the Tomahawks. Now, the other thing you gotta know about buying a pair of boots like this is that you've got to understand where your toes are going to land and how the heel's going to shape. Now, you don't want your toes in a pair of heritage type boots to hit the front at all. You want to give yourself about a thumb's width. That's the room you want inside here. You got to allow for different types of socks, because if you're buying a pair of boots, more than likely your mindset is going to be for foul weather, colder days. Going into winter, wearing them through the winter and probably carrying it through the spring. So you're going to be adjusting your socks. You're going to be putting on thinner socks, heavier socks, and then double socks and going back down. So when you get to that point when you have on double socks or extra heavy wool socks, you want some room inside there. Now, I'm not saying you want this thing to be sloppy. You don't want it to fit sloppy. You want to feel the boot suck into your arch. You want to feel the heel counter actually suck up your heel. So you want this section and this section to fit perfectly. That's where you got to try things on. If you don't get the chance to try things on, if that's not something you can do because they're not available in your area, when you order them, think about this. Think about deciding on what size you need and maybe ordering a half size bigger and a half size smaller. And I realize I'm telling you to order 3 pairs of boots to send 2 back, but when you find the right size, you'll know it, because when you put a pair on and everything falls into place and you stand up, you're gonna know they fit right. They're gonna feel like they were made for you. So that's the Tomahawk from Thorogood's 1892 Heritage line of boots. Guys, if you're currently wearing a pair of 1892 boots from Thorogood, please comment below so that the other guys can kind of start a dialogue with you. Because there's a lot of guys out there who are getting into the whole heritage boot line and that are looking at Thorogood boots and understand that this is a quality American-made product and this is what they want to have on their foot. But like I said earlier, they're not available all over the place. You just can't walk into any single shop and pick a pair up, so they're gonna have to order them online. So guys, if you're wearing them, please comment below, kind of check the video from time to time and see if there's anybody else out there who has questions, maybe questions I can't answer. So if you guys can help me out by answering questions about the Thorogoods in different sizes or the different sole patterns, please do. Gentlemen, if you're interested in seeing some photos of these that I took throughout the last few weeks, please swing by my Instagram and check that out. all week long as I'm testing new boots and I'm putting stuff out there. I'm taking the photos and I'm posting them to Instagram. I feel it's a better way to get in contact with you guys, or for you guys to get in contact with me. And it's a lot easier for me just to keep that going, because all day long I can post photos. No matter if I'm working or if I'm playing, I'm putting photos out there. Please don't forget to hit my subscribe button below. You know it really helps out. And also think about supporting me on Patreon. If you enjoy the videos I make about heritage boots, work boots, hiking boots, or just boots in general, and you're finding them useful, think about supporting me on Patreon. $12 a year is all I really ask for. That's $1 a month from all you guys. Man, that would be great. That would allow me to just open up the whole Boot Guy Reviews channel to all kinds of new products, to all kinds of new types of videos, and just to new ideas and new communications between all of us. Hey, if you're about to pick up a pair of these 1892s, whether it's a Tomahawk, Kenosha, or any of the other boots in the line, and you got a few questions, try hitting me up on Instagram, maybe even try hitting me up on a Facebook post. If I can't help you, I'm gonna send you directly to Thorogood, because the guys at Thorogood are outstanding about answering questions on both of those services. So if you got a question about picking a pair of these up, try shooting us a message. All right, until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.